Ladies and gentlemen, you well know that our environment has been degraded due to irresponsible human activities. And this week we are featuring an innovative entrepreneur by the names of Emmanuel Bukenya, who has ventured into an alternative of eco-friendly improved charcoal stoves. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Emmanuel Bukenya from Wakiso.
Uganda is one of the 4 least developed countries identified by a UN agency as having at least a third of its population poor due to environmental degradation. And also, according to a report by the World Health Organization, more than half of the world's population, about 3 billion people, cook their meals with wood, dung, coal, and other solid fuels over open fires or on primitive stoves inside their homes. And that simple act is killing 1.5 million people every year.
What?
This week, we interact with William Bukenya, who shares with us his newest innovation in a bid to contribute to the conservation of the environment.
Motor factories makes these gasifier stoves, and gasifiers, particularly this motor stove, gives households an opportunity to use biomass. By that I mean things like firewood or maize cobs or bamboo. So households do not have to depend on a charcoal supplier. Households are able to make their own charcoal with this tool. So besides being a basic, stove, it's also an empowerment tool because it gives even mothers a chance to cook and be as near as possible to their stove without worrying about the pollution as it is with these other ordinary stoves and three-stone fires.
But why would William think in that line of business?
I was among friends, like-minded individuals with whom we were consulting in a World Bank project at the Center for Research in Energy and Energy Conservation, CREC. So we realized the project was winding down, and as it is with ordinary any other projects, when there isn't a budget, they simply close the activities. So we thought, how about sustaining this intervention through some kind of a business entity. So we put our minds together and our resources to start motor factories. And I'm also one of the co-founders. And one of the key elements within this process was for us to close the knowledge gap. We brought in people who went to formal learning environments like me, to universities and high schools to study, and those that learned in these informal more practical learning environments. And one of the key individuals in our factory is Mr. Saddam Sembata, who has more than 25 years of experience in tinsmithing. So he's on board, and he's not just an employee but a co-founder, and he has been instrumental in streamlining our process in terms of production. So when we rolled, we easily brought in young men from different parts of the country, people whose mindset was not that corrupted and they were eager to learn. So we taught them how to produce the stove. And so we also observed the production process and streamlined. We moved our output from 5 stoves a day to 8 to 15. Now we have the capacity to produce at least 30 stoves a day.
Bukenya automatically fits the definition of an entrepreneur, especially when it comes to providing employment and skills to fellow youths.
We have six people. These are young men between the age of 18 to 22. And these are people we've sourced from different parts of the country, from Jinja, from Arua, from Mbale. But we focus more on those that are willing to learn and those that have not been influenced by these poor work attitude within the informal sector.
Having realized that he was bringing something new to the market, William could not lose out on this opportunity.
As soon as we noticed for a fact that there is a need in the market for efficient stoves, and whereas what was existing was not as appropriate as the users would love. So we thought there is an opportunity for us to provide a new technology and also make some money as investors, and also while at the same time empowering households and young people who are involved in the distribution.
Understanding the market for a particular product is very key. But does William really know his market?
The market is within, you're looking at the lower middle class, people who can't afford gas, and also the lower class, people in the rural areas, people who have access to these fuels. They are willing to buy the stove at this price. We only have a challenge to attach some kind of a cool factor onto it, the kind of factor that you have with the phones, But ultimately, as long as the buyer understands the cost savings in terms of money, saving time, they ultimately buy the motor stove.
After capturing the market, consistency is very important, especially when it comes to output. But how much does motor factories produce in a day?
In a day, so far we have the capacity to produce 30 stoves in a day. We buy our materials very near, 15 minutes drive from here at Roofings. So material comes in here, we cut it, we roll it, and we assemble. Most of these parts are pre-cut. A couple of weeks ago, the legs, the handles. So we are able to put them together as soon as material is here.
And what is unique about motor stove?
Unlike any other ordinary stove, a motor is not restricted by fuels. You can use a variety of fuels. Firewood, bamboo, maize cobs, as long as it is dry, it will give you the steady flame. But most importantly, because it burns the gases from the fuels, it is able to reduce the pollutant emissions by 90%. So, you can cook, yourself in a safe environment. You can cook, especially for mothers, with your daughters, with your kids, without worrying about these emissions going into their lungs. And also, pretty important is the fact that households need the monies, they need to save some money. The motor does that. You save between 30,000 to 40,000 depending on your proximity to this biomass.
And what is unique about the motor stove?
As a matter of fact, a motor stove being a tool that empowers people, it has changed my life. The fact that I am not just an entrepreneur. I feel like someone who is involved in an empowerment kind of thing. So when I get calls from users who appreciate the technology and they are willing to share the joy and the benefit with the community, I think that's much more fulfilling than just the money.
This young entrepreneur has people to thank for the success of his venture so far.
I also want to thank individuals out there, YouthWorks, the US Embassy, organizations out there that have given us the support to showcase what we have, and also want to thank these young men and women who have come on board to help us distribute. I think they're also feeling the need to be part of this wave of change.
With no hindrances in applying skill to output, William still has challenges to address.
Like any other business, we are going through that, like any other startup, that learning curve. And as far as production is concerned, I think we are covered. We've been able to streamline further. I think we can actually produce more, but we would like it to be market driven. The market tells us, give us so much, we produce for that much. But guys, at this specific phase, the challenge is establishing proper routes and channels of distribution. And we would like to involve as many young people as possible. People who are out there busy selling things like airtime, they don't give them as much margins as this stove would. I think these guys can easily benefit from this, especially youth out there. But also stove resellers. We are trying to tap into these markets to have as many distributors as possible. And that is quite a challenge because the Ugandan market seems to be hugely fragmented. There are these circles, there are schools, there are markets, there are shops, and each one of those markets is a different environment, and tapping into them is kind of a risky thing. So you ultimately going to lose some money before you seal the deal. So it will make a difference if there was someone out there who has chains of distribution and are willing to take on our product. We'll be glad. We've had individuals who have come in to take the stoves, but they are not good at paying in terms of the resellers. But also, I think the biggest challenge is the fact that tapping into these markets is a risky venture because there are costs involved. And each market you're trying to tap into, each segment, there are chances of losing money before you close the deal. So that we've incurred some losses in some of these markets as we try to, go into them.